Take a moment and slow down, even if just for a few seconds, because something meaningful is happening right now. You didn't arrive here by rushing or by accident, and this isn't just another voice passing through your day. There are moments in life when our attention is gently redirected, not through noise or urgency, but through a quiet inner pull that says, pause here. This is one of those moments. You may not be able to explain why you stopped, but something in you recognized that this message mattered. Many people would have moved on without noticing, but you didn't, and that alone is worth paying attention to. Sometimes God doesn't speak through dramatic signs or loud interruptions. Sometimes he speaks through timing, through stillness, through the simple act of being present at the right moment. If you felt unsettled lately, without knowing why, if something in your life feels slightly out of alignment even though nothing obvious is wrong, you're not imagining it. There are seasons when everything looks fine on the outside, yet inside there's a quiet sense that something needs reflection, or change, or deeper awareness. That feeling is not confusion, it's discernment beginning to surface. It often shows up as restlessness, as fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, or as a subtle hesitation before making decisions that once felt easy. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs that your spirit is paying attention before your mind has fully caught up. This message isn't meant to rush you or pressure you into believing anything. It's simply an invitation to listen. God's guidance rarely comes with force. It comes with clarity, and clarity often begins when we slow down enough to notice what we've been pushing aside. You may have been moving quickly, adapting, giving, responding, and carrying responsibilities without stopping to ask whether everything you're holding is still meant for you. Over time, that can create a quiet disconnect between who you are and how you're living. When that happens, God doesn't condemn or overwhelm, he gently redirects. You might recognize this moment because it feels calm, not dramatic. It doesn't demand an instant decision or promise immediate change. Instead, it feels grounding, as if something inside you is being steadied. That steadiness is important. It creates space to see clearly. And clarity is often the first step toward protection. Before God removes what no longer belongs in our lives, he often reveals it. Before change happens externally, awareness happens internally. This moment is about awareness. If you've sensed that not every influence around you is as supportive as it appears, or that certain conversations leave you feeling drained rather than strengthened, that awareness didn't come from nowhere. God has a way of highlighting what quietly pulls us away from peace, even when it looks harmless or familiar. This isn't about suspicion or fear. It's about discernment. Discernment doesn't accuse. It observes. It helps you notice what aligns with your values and what slowly pulls you away from them. The fact that you're still listening suggests that something in you is ready to be honest, even if you're not yet sure what that honesty will lead to. And that's okay. God doesn't require complete understanding before offering guidance. He simply asks for openness. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to make immediate changes. You only need to be willing to pay attention to what's already being revealed. When pressure increases, so do the invitations to escape it. Not always obvious, not always loud. Sometimes they arrive quietly, disguised as relief, as rest, as an easy way out. This is where many people lose their footing. Because when you're tired, shortcuts feel justified. When you've waited long enough, anything that promises comfort starts to look like an answer. But listen carefully. Not every open door is God. Not every opportunity is alignment. And not every offer is meant to be accepted. Some exits appear not to rescue you, but to remove you from what's being built. Pressure has a way of attracting false solutions, quick fixes, temporary relief. Paths that promise peace without growth, they don't look dangerous at first. They look reasonable, they sound convincing. But what they offer is escape, not preparation. And if you take them, the pressure may lift, but so will the purpose. This is the test. Will you trust the process, or will you trade it for something that only feels good for now? Because what God is preparing in you cannot be rushed, and it cannot be replaced. Stay steady here. This moment matters. Now listen closely. This pressure is not proof that you're weak. It is proof that you can carry more. Pressure is never applied to something without value. Nothing insignificant is refined. Nothing without purpose is tested this way. God does not prepare the unqualified. He qualifies through preparation. If you were fragile, this season would have crushed you already. If you were incapable, you would have walked away by now. But you're still here, still standing, still choosing restraint over reaction, still holding your ground even when it would be easier to let go. That tells you something important. The pressure didn't come because you're failing. It came because you're close to clarity, close to growth, close to a version of yourself that requires greater strength than before. This is the moment where fear tries to convince you that something is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong. What's happening is expansion. Your capacity is increasing. Your discernment is sharpening. Your foundation is being reinforced. And yes, it feels uncomfortable. Growth always does. But discomfort is not danger, and resistance is not rejection. This pressure is shaping you into someone who won't fold when responsibility increases. Someone who won't panic when weight is added. Someone who won't compromise when tested again. So take this in. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are being strengthened for what's next. And the fact that you're still standing here, still listening, still discerning, means the pressure is working. Stay steady. There's a reason this season feels heavy but controlled. Scripture reminds us of this in a simple but powerful way. In Isaiah, it says that those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will rise, not collapse. They will endure, not burn out. Notice what that means. Strength isn't renewed by rushing. It isn't restored by escape. It's renewed by waiting with trust. Waiting doesn't look impressive. It doesn't feel productive. But it is, where strength is rebuilt quietly. Another verse says that God establishes the steps of those who delight in Him, even when their path feels uncertain. That means clarity often comes asterisk obedience, not before it. In modern life, we're taught to move fast, to fix discomfort immediately, to eliminate pressure as soon as it appears, but faith doesn't work that way. Sometimes God allows pressure to remain because it's keeping you aligned, keeping you focused, keeping you from stepping into something you're not meant to carry yet. This isn't about proving your faith, it's about deepening it, learning how to stay steady without constant reassurance, learning how to trust the process even when the outcome isn't visible yet. That's not weakness, that's maturity. And the strength being built in you right now is the kind that lasts, not the kind that disappears the moment pressure returns. That's why this season matters. This is the part many people misunderstand. They assume that waiting means nothing is happening, that silence means stagnation, that delay means they're off track. But waiting is not empty time. Waiting is training. Some of the most important work God does happens where no one is watching, where there is no applause, where progress cannot be measured yet. Silence is not punishment. Silence is where focus is sharpened. When the noise is removed, you begin to hear what actually matters. Your motives become clearer. Your discernment becomes stronger. Delay works the same way. Delay is not denial. Delay is alignment. It slows you down just enough to prevent you from stepping into something before you're ready to sustain it. Think about how refining works. Heat doesn't destroy what's valuable. It removes what doesn't belong. Think about strengthening. Muscle isn't built during movement. It's built under resistance. Think about roots. Roots grow underground, where no one can see them. They grow in darkness, in stillness, in patience. And yet, when the time comes, what's above ground stands firm because of what was built below it. That's what this waiting season is doing for you. It's not delaying your life, it's anchoring it. So if nothing looks different yet, that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the work is invisible right now. And invisible work is often the most important kind. Stay with it. What's being prepared beneath the surface is going to support everything that comes next. Let this settle in you now. You are not forgotten. Even if it feels quiet. Even if recognition hasn't come yet. You are not behind. Your pace has not been a mistake. Your timing has not been delayed. And you are not overlooked. Nothing about your effort has gone unseen. What's been happening is not neglect. It's intention. God has been shaping you without drawing attention to you, preparing you without rushing you, strengthening you without exposing you too early. Some seasons require obscurity, not because you're unworthy of visibility, but because growth needs protection before it needs exposure. You don't need to announce what you're becoming. You don't need to prove where you're going. You don't need to compare your path to anyone else's. What is meant for you will meet you at the right time. And when it does, you won't need to force it. You won't need to defend it. You won't need to explain it. You'll recognize it by the peace that comes with it. So stand steady in who you are right now. Not louder. Not faster. Just faithful. This season is not about being seen. It's about being ready. And readiness is something no one can take from you. Take a moment with this. Nothing here requires a reaction. Nothing needs to be explained. But if what you've been hearing connects with what you're carrying right now, if it reflects a season you recognize, acknowledge that quietly, not as a favor, not as agreement with me, but as awareness for yourself. Sometimes naming what we're walking through is the first step toward understanding it. So if this message aligns with where you are, leave a simple comment, not to be seen, but to mark the moment, and then carry this with you. Pressure does not mean you're failing. Waiting does not mean you're forgotten. And silence does not mean nothing is happening. You don't need to rush what's being built. You just need to stay present while it is. That's enough for now. Take a moment with this. Nothing here requires a reaction. Nothing needs to be explained. But if what you've been hearing connects with what you're carrying right now, if it reflects a season you recognize, acknowledge that quietly, not as a favor, not as agreement with me, but as awareness for yourself. Sometimes naming what we're walking through is the first step toward understanding it. So if this message aligns with where you are, leave a simple comment, not to be seen, but to mark the moment, and then carry this with you. Pressure does not mean you're failing. Waiting does not mean you're forgotten. And silence does not mean nothing is happening. You don't need to rush what's being built. You just need to stay present while it is. That's enough for now.